guys, and welcome back to another episode of your Brains Coach podcast. My name is Angela Shurina. I'm your host, I'm your Brains Coach, and it is my job here to bring to you all the best, most research, effective, useful, and sometimes fun brain body tools so you could feel your best, think your best, and do your absolute best at reaching your goals and designing your life exactly in the way you want to experience it. And today, as you guessed, is one of our fun episodes. Fun because, changing our bodies, changing how we look, going after certain fitness goals. It's so human and it's so universal. And even though very often it feels like hard work, but you know what I love about, for example, weight loss and fat loss and fitness and health journeys, and why I've worked and still work, like a huge part of my work is helping entrepreneurs, helping leaders, helping ambitious people to dial in their health and weight management habits as well. You know what I find really fun about that is most of the things that are related to your weight loss, your health, your fitness journey, they are in your direct control. It's one of those things. It's not like business where most of the things are actually outside of your control. Like, yes, you're going to take action, but how the reality responds, it's not universal and it's different for everyone, and you never can really predict like what's the economy or what's the world like. Obviously, if you don't stop, if you change your actions and you keep going after it, you will achieve results, but there are just a lot more things that are out of your control. Whereas I feel like weight loss, fat loss, maybe that's because I've been in the industry for so long, for 15 years. I started working as a personal trainer at the beginning of my coaching career, fitness 15 years ago. But even before that, when I was 18, for all the different reasons, I got interested in nutrition, in health. And so maybe because of that, but I do feel like we have a lot more leverage. Like if you do certain things, biology responds. Like if you are in a calorie deficit, for example, you will lose weight. Now, for some people, it might take longer. For some of you folks, it might take less time. Like, to give you an example, for me, because of my lifestyle, because of my past, how much I trained, how long I've been in training for more than 20 years, actually, and my muscle mass, my activity level, my dietary quality. Like, for example, for me, it's easier to lose weight when I reduce my calorie intake, even by like 200 calories. That is not that much. I just need to make sure that I don't eat too many nuts and seeds and don't drink too many cappuccinos. I do that, and for me, it means maybe eating 2,000 calories, sometimes 1,800 calories, depending on my activity. And I start losing weight, whereas a lot of males and females actually need to go lower in their calorie deficit, right? And the lower you go, obviously, the more hunger you experience. So I feel kind of lucky, and my body responds, again, because of my past, because of how I conditioned my body. My body responds pretty well to my weight loss efforts. And then for some people, it's harder because of health history, because of training history, because of certain health conditions that you might have. So yeah, in that regards, it's different. But no matter who you are, a calorie deficit, it's a sure way for you to head to weight loss, fat loss game. No doubt about that. And all the research that we have shows that, like, no matter what diet you choose, keto, vegan, if you're not in a calorie deficit, you aren't going to be losing that weight. And diets work because they allow you to be in a caloric deficit, calories in, calories out. And then people say, but I'm not going to go there. On today's podcast, what I want to give to you, first of all, the fun part, I want to give you the feeling that it's really fun to look at your body, look at the mirror and say to yourself, I want to look that way. And let me explore the strategies, the tools that are available, and get consistent and make it happen. It's like work of art. You put in the effort and you draw a new picture of yourself. Obviously, it takes time and the feedback loop is long, but you have a lot of leverage there. And when, I love weight loss, fat loss also, because once you start seeing progress, and anytime you experience progress and when you take actions and you get closer to the results that you want, you get boost of dopamine and you get boost of confidence and you get boost of motivation that actually pours over other areas of your life, whether that's relationships, business, your creative work, your career path, whatever that is, that confidence that your actions matter and they result in progress when you do certain things right and consistently. That feeling is also like very satisfying. And so some of my coachees, entrepreneurs ask me how to boost confidence. Find something that gives you that sense of progress where you take actions and you get the results. And that's where fat loss and fitness are so amazing. You put in the actions, you use the right strategies and you get the results. And then that confidence that your actions produce results pour over your work and your entrepreneurial journey. So health and fitness is one of those hobbies where you can get the results pretty much consistently if you use the right strategies, and that will allow you to boost your confidence, plus better looks and better health and better dopamine levels also contribute to your increased confidence levels. That being said, that is why fat loss and weight loss is so amazing. So that's the feeling. And what I want to focus on today are not just any diets, but instead things that I found from my work with clients, and I'm still working with quite a few clients, helping them in weight loss, fat loss. So I wanted to give you tools and things that I found from my clients. People get wrong. Like, you get a wrong idea. You read a book, but you didn't put it in the right context, and that's why you have a faulty strategy and you're wasting your time. Like, for example, one of those things that I want you to avoid, thinking that certain food or certain nutrient like carbohydrates or fats make you fat. No, none of those things make you fat. If you overeat, that what makes you fat. There are details how different foods affect your hunger levels or your appetite, how they affect your metabolic rate, how much energy it actually requires to digest certain foods. But overall, no nutrient makes you fat, especially high quality foods, fruit, vegetables, meats, fish. They don't make you fat, but overeating calories does make any human being fat. So that is one of those faulty notions. And you read books by PhDs, by medical doctors who would talk about maintaining certain blood glucose level. And that's why not eating a lot of carbohydrates. But then people don't realize that not all carbohydrates are created equal. As I like to say to my clients, nobody got fat on eating too many apples and bananas. It's eating a lot more calories from highly processed food, from lower quality foods. That what makes you fat, not because you ate a banana and an apple there. And very often in those books, because they're written about a specific population, that is actually a big part of our population now. People with certain metabolic issues like blood sugar irregularities, prediabetes, diabetes, or metabolic syndrome where you also have high blood pressure, cholesterol, or triglycerides. So these books are written about sick people, and very often the finer details like high quality carbohydrates are actually good for you and can help you get better and feel less hungry and lose weight and improve your health. A lot of details are lost, and they're lost because the book has to be focused. But then again, the author very often doesn't put anywhere in the notes, so maybe it's just not as significant that, eating your apples and bananas actually is good. If you replace all your processed stuff with that, then those carbohydrates work, because that doesn't fit in their theory, for example, of low blood sugar. And carbohydrates obviously create a higher blood glucose spike. So not always spike, but increase. So anyhow, that is one fallacy. No nutrient makes you fat. And if you want to get healthier, if you want to start moving into the direction of weight loss and feeling more vibrant and energetic and having a lower appetite in general, you want to improve the quality of your foods, eating better carbohydrates, unprocessed from fruit and vegetables and beans and whole grains, not pasta or pizza or certain drinks with a lot of added sugar. You get the idea. Calories is what matters, and no nutrient makes you fat. Nobody again got fat eating apples and bananas. So calories, the only way to lose weight is making sure you are in a calorie deficit. If you're not losing, you're not in a calorie deficit. No matter like what your body does, and in each individual case, the metabolic profile is different, meaning what your body does with the foods you put in. But if you're not losing, you're not in a calorie deficit. Your body is doing something to reduce the calorie it uses, and it stays in calorie maintenance or surplus. So if you're not losing, again, the calories are where you need to look. But then beyond calories, it's not about calories, it's also about quality of food. So when you're losing weight, you probably don't want to get sicker and skinny fat when you lose your muscle, and you lose weight on scale, but you also lose your muscle mass and bone mass, and you lose your health and very often your mind. So you probably don't want to end up in that place, right? And that's why when we're talking about calorie deficit, you probably want to improve the quality of your food while getting into a calorie deficit. So, but then, the other side of the coin, no matter how well you eat, let's say you start to eat all the fruits and vegetables and meats and fatty fish, calories still matter. So if you eat a lot of those foods, especially, let's say you eat mackerel that has I believe 300 calories per 100 grams, and you eat it every day. And because of that, you might end up in 500 calorie surplus. Now, you're not going to be losing weight, even if all of your foods are high quality. You might lose some weight, water weight, but because higher quality foods actually reduce inflammation, and that makes you hold less water. And for many other different reasons, you might lose some water weight. But after that, if you stay in that calorie surplus, you might gain weight, not lose weight. So still, calories are the king of weight loss, of fat loss. But when you start also thinking about reducing calories, improve the quality of your diet, because that will contribute to your long-term health, your energy levels, and also your looks. Do you want to look toned and muscled, or you want to look flabby and skinny fat? So consider that when you think about different dietary restrictions trying to lose weight. So when I personally lose weight, I was on a 5 months weight loss journey, I try to lose weight gradually, because then it's easier, and also it's easier to maintain, and your body does not want to regain it once you get to your goal weight. So being on that journey, anytime I'm losing fat, I actually manage to maintain my lean body mass or increase it while losing fat. And that is kind of the golden standard. Burn the fat and build the muscle. And you can do that, but you have to be very specific about a couple of things. Training with weights, not doing some marathon or long form running or any other cardio that actually might burn quite a lot of your muscle, but instead prioritizing weight training. Another one, eating a ton of protein, almost overfeeding yourself on protein. I right now eat almost 3 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight. And that one of the things which allows me to preserve all of my muscle while losing fat, while staying in calorie deficit, right? So I know that this works. That would also, when I worked in bodybuilding and fitness modeling, that would also elite competitors do. They overfeed on that protein, so they make sure to maintain as much muscle as possible, which allow you to have higher metabolic rate and lose fat while staying in less of a deficit. So you don't have to cut calories that much. And then protein takes the most energy to digest. So not only you get to eat the most satisfying nutrient and maintain the most muscle, also when you eat more protein, your body spends more energy on digestion. To give you an idea, to digest protein, you spend about 30% of that energy in protein-rich food, like let's say in salmon or steak or chicken breast. So you spend 30% of that energy that you get from that food on digestion, increasing your also metabolic rate. Not by a lot, but still, if you eat a lot of that protein every day, obviously that compounds. Carbohydrates, it takes about 10 to 15% of energy that you ingest with them to digest them. So you lose 10 to 15. With protein, you lose up to 30%. With fat, you lose close to zero. And that's why being on a high-fat diet and eating a lot of fats, not only each gram of fat has more than double amount of calories than a gram of carbohydrate or a gram of protein, but then also it doesn't require almost no energy to digest. Your body just uses it for fuel for different purposes, but it's very cheap nutrients, so to speak, for your body to get energy from. And that's what you also want to understand, why being on a lowerish fat, not fat-free. I eat my eggs with yolks and all the foods that are supposed to have fat. Well, not all actually, dairy I eat fat-free. But the idea is that's why leaner, lowerish fat works so well, because when you increase your protein, you spend more energy on digestion and you get a lot less calories from the foods that you eat. It allows you to stay in that calorie deficit better. Not only that, but that high protein diet, being lower in fat, again, allows you to stay very satiating and in a calorie deficit much easier. So that's what I do in a different way compared to a lot of those diets that you would read about. And that's how you want to be, again, not just based on my experience, my personal always clients. I also worked with physique athletes, with bodybuilders. That's what they do. High protein, lowerish in fat, managed because fat does not take any energy or almost to digest and absorb the calories. And you want to have your carbohydrates, your fiber, your high quality carbohydrates with a lot of fiber, a lot of water from fruit and vegetables, to have your stomach full, which allows you to not be hungry. It also feeds your gut bacteria, your gut microbiome, one of the most essential aspects of your health. And also when your gut bacteria is fat, guess what? You, again, don't feel that hungry. Why do we also want to eat a lot of fruit, vegetables, besides the fact that it fills you up? Low density of calories, high density of nutrients, of those vitamins and minerals and different antioxidants that keep you healthy, energized, and youthful. And again, one of the other core aspects of eating well and eating for weight loss is eating a lot of fruit and vegetables, eating a lot of fiber, because again, it keeps you satiated, it keeps you full, and it keeps you in a low calorie land, easier, providing all the vitamins and minerals and electrolytes that you might need to fuel your life, fuel your training. So two core aspects: high protein, high fiber foods to fill you up, to make you feel very full and satiating while staying in calorie deficit, and reducing the fat content of different foods. We're going to talk about fat in a second when we talk about small things. Before that, I want you to understand that when you are on a weight loss journey, experiencing hunger is okay. What you want to do is not experience too much of it by, for example, cutting your calories all too much by like 1,000 and triggering a huge hunger response, which you're then not able to overcome. So smaller calorie deficit triggers less anxiety, less stress, less cravings, and it's something that you can maintain for a long time. Although, of course, the weight loss in theory will take longer, but in practice, when you cut your calories by a lot, you quit it soon and then get back to your old habits and regain that weight, or just never get any weight loss in the first place. That's why having smaller calorie deficit is also so important. It doesn't trigger your hunger that much. But then during weight loss stage, fat loss stage, it is normal again to experience hunger. And you want to have strategies to deal with that feeling and be okay with experiencing it from time to time. What you want to understand is hunger is not a feeling that's going to stay the same all the time, and you're just going to get progressively hungry and hungry and hungrier. After a workout, you come back home and you might feel like you're ready to eat a horse. Like sometimes I feel that way. But if you wait 20, 30 minutes, if you drink some water, if you distract yourself by, playing a game of Tetris on your phone, that's actually a legitimate strategy. You'll notice that after playing that game, for example, for 15 minutes, you're not longer that hungry. And eating something smaller, not a horse, but some tuna, some sardines, some chicken breast with an apple, actually will satisfy you and will allow you to stay in that maybe slight but still caloric deficit that will keep moving you towards your goals. So managing hunger and having these strategies, understanding that hunger is not going to stay the same or just increase, that it comes and goes in waves. And so if you distract yourself for 15 minutes, again, simply like maybe go outside or play Tetris for 15 minutes, playing those games actually does help you to distract yourself. And then you'll notice that you don't feel that much hunger. And in eating something smaller, like again, some apple or some berries and maybe some tuna or an egg, will actually help you to then continue with your day and still maintain that calorie deficit that is needed to get to your weight loss goals. So 2 takeaways here. Hunger comes and goes in waves. Distract yourself. Find strategies that work for self-distraction. And also you don't have to then eat a lot to satisfy that hunger, because yes, sometimes you might want to have something like if you're about to go to bed and you don't want to go to bed on a hungry stomach. So eat something small. That also works. You don't need to eat till the fullness of your stomach. And you'll still be happy. You'll be able to fall asleep. Another tool to reduce anxiety and stress and hunger levels, breath work. It also works. It works because it switches your nervous system from fight or flight, when your body prepares you to run or to fight, and it actually utilizes fuels and makes sure that you have that fuel to fight, flight, or run, and your body's energy systems are ramped up. So when you switch your nervous system to rest and digest, your body starts to be in a more economical state of energy usage. You're all of a sudden don't feel that stress. Your blood glucose stabilizes. Your hunger levels also go down. You don't want to be consuming all of this energy all of a sudden. So 5 minutes of breath work is another way to distract yourself from that hunger. Not only that, but it changes your biochemistry, your nervous system, through your nervous system in a way that all of a sudden you don't feel hungry and your body are ready to burn that fat for fuel in a slower fashion. So breath work combined with distractions, even though breath work is itself distraction, and then eating something small, something protein rich, something fiber rich, like tuna and carrots or tuna and apple are my favorite things. And then continue with your day. And that's how you manage your hunger as it comes and goes. And again, back to that idea, hunger comes and goes. It doesn't stay high. But then also remember that one of the most satiating nutrients to reduce your hunger is eating protein. So if you're still hungry, eat more protein. You get less calories, you'll feed your muscles, and you're going to feel satiated very, very soon. That's why for most of my clients, I recommend always have some chicken breast, always have some tuna, have those lean sources of protein available all the time, or dried biltong or dried beef jerky that is lean, or maybe dried fish, or some egg whites, even though I find that egg whites, for example, are not that satiating because they don't require a lot of chewing. But they just always have that chewy protein somewhere cooked and ready to go for those days and times when you feel hungry. And fiber also helps to fill up your stomach. That also is a factor that plays into reducing your hunger. Then about fat percentage of different foods. And here I want to talk about small things that truly matter for weight loss. A lot of my executive clients, entrepreneurs, super busy clients don't see progress because they don't realize where they get a lot more calories, not even eating anything, and where they could easily make progress without breaking the bank, so to speak, or going hungry. For example, what I'm talking about here, switching to black coffee or switching to splash of milk, not a cappuccino that might have 150 or 200 calories. So maybe switching to skimmed milk in that cappuccino that slashes your calories by half. Those things accumulate. If you have 2 or 3 of those with 150 calories, that's like additional 400 calories with whole milk. If you reduce it by half, that's going to be just 200 calories. So those things really, really matter. Or instead of having your tuna in olive oil, have it in water. That's like 200 calories less, sometimes more, sometimes even more than 200 calories. No fat dressing. When I order my salad, for example, I always ask some lemon juice on the side, or I look at their dressing if they have like a choice than something non-fatty. Why it matters to reduce fats in those small things? Well, because fat is, again, back to the calorie count, more than twice the amount of calories than carb or a protein. For my clients who also do some prep at home, I always recommend make your own fat-free dressing, and it's really simple. Blend some tomatoes with some spices, some herbs, some lemon juice or lime juice, kind of like almost virgin Bloody Mary. And here you go, tomato-based dressing with some herbs and spices that make it delicious. You can have a kick there if you add some chili or something. And the calories are a lot less, and they still give you the flavor. It still gives you a more flavorful and interesting experience. Like some of my clients love different tuna sandwiches. So having that, by the way, about sandwiches, if you just eat open sandwich, you cut the bread calories by half. Like yesterday, I ordered salad again. There was a whole small avocado. I ate just half. And instead of 260 calories, I ate 130. Managing your portions and eating less of those fattier foods also matters. Or for the period of your weight loss, switching to fat-free yogurt instead of full-free, or low-fat instead of full-cream yogurt. And you slash your calories again by double. You're going to be saving, and I'm already giving you so many tips where you can be saving hundreds of calories, not even touching your main food groups, not your meats, not your vegetables, nothing that you might like and you actually chew. Just removing some milk in your coffee and switching dressing, and also not cooking with your oil. Do you really need that oil? You can add flavor with spices, with herbs, and they have some calories, but not as much as oil. And so for some of you, if you're trying to put on weight, you might want to add oil. But for most of you trying to lose weight, do you really need that oil? Like, does it really add so much to your experience? Then remove it. And maybe if you cook for the whole family, what you do is you cook without oil, or maybe sprayed with oil. If you cook without oil, just get your portion when the food is cooked, put it in additional container, in separate container, and then mix the rest for the whole family with the oil. There is always a way to remove all those unnecessary calories that you don't even notice, and they're keeping you from reaching your goal. And these things are so simple, and that's how I lose weight. I don't do anything crucial. You wouldn't even notice that my diet is any different, but I'm going to be losing weight because, like yesterday, we were out with a friend for a walk, and he said, do you want to go and get those red cappuccinos? That is basically rooibos tea with milk made like cappuccino. I'm like, no, I had my calories for the day. And that was it. And I removed 150 calories from my day. And instead we went for a walk. So those small things really, really accumulate. Then on hunger again. If you're still hungry, at the end of the day, still eat more protein, eat more fiber, crunch on those carrots, eat that tuna, sardines, chicken breast, what else? Shrimp are also really amazing, 99% protein. Crab meat, the extra lean beef. There are so many options for protein-rich foods. Just eat more. And at the end of the day, it will allow you to stay, of course, if you don't eat like a kilo of it, it will allow you to stay in that slight calorie deficit every day, and you win every day. And yes, weight loss gonna come a little bit slower, but it will come. Whereas if you slash your calories by 1,000, yeah, on the scale, first week you might lose a lot, but then you'll eat it all up and remove all of your progress. That's not what we want to do. Now a couple more topics here. Supplements and weekends. Supplements. There are certain nutrients that your body needs more of when you are losing weight, when you're burning fat. Things like B2 vitamin that is needed to make energy out of fat. And so when you start burning more fat, or you want your body to burn more fat to lose that fat, you need more of that nutrient. I read a course actually by Chris Masterjohn, his PhD of nutrition, and he was saying that when you in a weight loss phase of your journey, you need double the amount of B2. But then that B2 is found in fatty foods, and a lot of you will be cutting some of those fatty foods from your diet, so you kind of get less, but then you need more to lose fat. If you do cardio, you need even more of that B2 to make fat loss effective, fat burning effective, utilization of fat for fuel. Or vitamin C, L-carnitine, needed to make fat loss happen. People would ask me, well, how would our ancestors lose weight, or our grandparents, etc., or somebody, like people lose weight without supplements? Yes, they do, but they don't lose it as effectively by building also muscle and burning more fat than muscle. That's number one. Number two, your body is not optimized for fat loss. Your body does not like to lose fat because it's a survival energy source. So we as human beings are not optimized for fat loss. So your body doesn't really care if you're not that good at burning fat. That's why if you want to make the process of burning fat more effective, you most probably need to supplement with those things that, because of your dietary restrictions, you might be even eating a lot less of, that might provide some of the nutrients. But for example, L-carnitine needed for fat loss to happen mostly in red meat. And are you eating a lot of red meat, or going to be eating all of it while burning fat? For most of the people like myself, that's not really the picture of the day, that just eating a lot of red meat to get your L-carnitine, not ideal scenario. I personally love more fish or more chicken, not really that into red meat. And so I definitely know I need that L-carnitine or vitamin C. Yeah, I eat a lot of it, but I also want to make my fat burning as effective as possible. And my vitamin C is needed also to create collagen and support my immune system. So let's supplement. Or zinc magnesium supplementation. Needed to utilize your protein and build that muscle. So that will help you to, again, maintain more lean body mass that allows you to burn fat more effectively. So supplementation does matter. That's what I'm trying to do. And if you want to optimize that lose fat, build muscle process, that you need to supplement, not to wait for natural thing to happen, making your job harder. Now to the weekends. A couple of things here, and we're done with this podcast. Alcohol and calorie overload. Imagine a scenario. You've been doing well during the week, Monday to Friday. You stayed in a slight deficit, let's say 200 to 300 calories, and you might already have 1,500 calorie deficit over the course of those 5 days. But then over the weekend, you decided to have a steak, you decided to have a couple of desserts, you decided to have your cappuccinos with full milk, you decided to have a couple of drinks, and all of a sudden we're looking at a 3,000 calorie surplus that not only erases everything you did through Monday to Friday, but gives you a surplus of 1,500 calories. And that's why on Monday you might get on the scales and I'm like, I've been doing so well. What happened with my progress? Weekend happened, folks. There is no magic. You are not doomed. You are not unlucky. It just, those calories, they matter. That's why managing a weekend is just as essential as managing your weekdays. When I work with clients, at some point, I want to make sure that they really understand they grounded in this reality and they understand that they need to manage their weekends. They cannot go all out. Tim Ferriss popularized this idea of cheat day. Quite a few people popularized this idea. But it only works if you're perfect in all of the other days and you have quite a huge calorie deficit in all of the other days to make this, cheat day even work. But then, even then, for a lot of people, it's just not going to be the reality. If you eat all you want over the weekend, you're still not going to lose weight. There is no magic there. I think cheat day, where it succeeds is when, again, during the other 6 days of the week, you are for sure in a calorie deficit. Don't forget that, for example, Tim Ferriss says one cheat day or one cheat meal, not the whole weekend. That makes a difference. So when you eat one huge meal, there is only so much that your digestive system is actually able to absorb from that. But then if you continue that cheat meal for the whole weekend, then your body can put on quite a lot of fat. So that's where kind of cheat meal succeeds and when it doesn't. Like if you have 2 days when you go in surplus here and there, that doesn't really work. And alcohol. Number one, alcohol does have calories, 7 calories per gram of alcohol itself. If you drink any sort of cocktail with added sugary stuff and all kinds of mixes, you add more and more calories. So that might end up having a dessert-like calories. That's number one. Number two, until the alcohol is out of your body, until your liver processes it as a toxins as it is, you're not burning any fat. So let's say you had a few drinks on Friday, on Saturday and Sunday, and you most probably may forget for fat loss for these days. And on top of that, eating all of the additional calories during the weekend, that really does not create a good picture for your weight loss. And that's why you might be stuck in your progress. And again, no magic, just understand those things. And that's it for today, folks. Today we talked about smart fat loss and all of the details that you might not have thought about, and because of that you might be stuck in your progress. Hopefully today a lot of things got clearer to you, and if not, you have an opportunity to schedule your free weight loss strategy session with someone, myself, who've been in the game for 15 years, worked with top physique and also performance athletes like I'm wrestlers or crossfitters or fighters trying to change their body composition really fast. I understand in practice and in theory, and I make sure to keep myself on top of studies. So if you'd like a strategy session with me to figure out where you're actually going wrong, if it's still unclear to you right now, there is a link in the show notes. Use it, schedule our call, and you're going to give me everything that you do, and I'm going to tell you exactly where you go wrong and the best strategy to manage yourself and manage your life to consistently start making progress towards your fat loss goal and win every day at that, which is going to give you confidence to win elsewhere. Today we talked about calories, the king. If you're not in a calorie deficit, forget about weight loss. We talked about the quality of foods and why it matters to eat protein and eat all of your fiber and high quality foods in general. We talked about managing hunger, how it comes and goes, and there are strategies to distract yourself. And also you don't have to eat till you full, but can satisfy your hunger with a little bit, especially if it's protein, and then keep going, getting progress. Then we talked about small things, how they matter, how the milk and the kind of milk in your cappuccino or in your yogurt might really be either giving you weight loss progress or stealing it. If you're hungry, still get more protein, get more fiber. fill up your stomach with fiber and eat your protein as the most satiating nutrient. Supplements do matter to optimize your fat loss. And weekends, not a magic land. If you have too many of those drinks and eat more calories here and there, all your weight loss progress might be completely erased and all your hard efforts with it. Hope you found, again, this podcast to be useful. If one of your goals is to adjust your body composition in 2024, please use them. Use the link in the show notes to schedule your session to get the best strategy for weight loss and having the body you want finally for the rest of your life. My specialty is get into the best shape of your life till the rest of your life, not just comes and goes, but till the rest of your life. So schedule that session or give it to your friend, to your relative. Whoever is struggling with that, share this podcast, share the link, give them the gift of knowledge and understanding and doing things right, because consistency is not the only thing that is important. The right kind of strategy is equally as crucial to success in all areas of weight loss, business, or any other life goal. Don't forget, folks, please do share this episode with anyone who might benefit. And that is the biggest gift you can give to me. Use the strategy, schedule your session, and keep making moves towards your goals. Have an awesome rest of the day, and you'll hear from me on Friday on Saturday, actually, with a book study about productivity and how to set your goals in the right way to start reaching them in every area of your life, business, and health. Talk to you soon and have an amazing day ahead.